Legend of Exorcism. Chapter 83. Two cases occurring at once. After breakfast, Li Jinglong didn't head back. Instead, he and Hung Jun turned into another alley, coming to a stop before a family's residence. They knocked on the door and went in. Hung Jun had already come here twice. This was the Chen family's residence. "What's wrong?" Hung Jun asked curiously. Li Jinglong was silent for a moment, before he said to Hung Jun, "Last night I dreamed of some things, so I came here to take a look." Upon seeing that it was Li Jinglong, the lady of the Wei clan hurried out, carrying her child. That child was already 1 year old, and he was crawling about. Upon seeing Li Jinglong and Hung Jun, he began to call out, "Ah! You dreamt of the heart lamp." Hung Jun glanced at Li Jinglong. Li Jinglong didn't respond. Instead, he pulled out some money and handed it to Lady Wei, who hurried to say that that was more than enough and that she wouldn't be able to use all of this money, and yet Li Jinglong told her not to refuse it. He asked, "Have you come up with a nickname for him?" "I'm calling him Hoa right now," Lady Wei said. "They're all saying out there that Zhenji was appointed a marquee position, and originally I wanted to bring him to kowtow to you, but no matter how I turned left and right, I couldn't find the place." Lady Wei wanted to kneel, but Hung Jun hurriedly lifted her to her feet. Li Jinglong said, "Some other day, I'll pick a few names out and send them over. If you don't mind, please feel free to pick one and use it for now." Lady Wei was infinitely thankful, but Li Jinglong was only here for a simple visit and to check on the child. He and Hung Jun left, walking out slowly along the street. Hung Jun didn't speak either. The spring wind blew by, and he felt that Li Jinglong seemed to have something weighing on his mind, so he went up and tugged his sleeve. Originally, he only wanted to call out to him, but instead, Li Jinglong picked up his hand and linked it with his own, their 10 fingers entwining. Li Jinglong's fingers tightened a little, and he said to Hung Jun, "Hung Jun, say, was the heart lamp coming to me a destined matter?" Hung Jun's expression twitched, and he replied, "Yes, that's called fate ba." Before, he hadn't gone over it in detail, but now that he thought about it, many things had happened as a series of lucky coincidences, causes and effects one after the other. In the beginning, if he hadn't chased that Fei Ao, then he wouldn't have run into Li Jinglong, and the heart lamp wouldn't have broken. And if he had handed the heart lamp to the true scion of the Chen family, then perhaps he would have long since been completely controlled by that blackened Lu Su in Dunhuang, and subsequently killed Li Jinglong and Mo Rijin. Everything seemed as if it had been determined by the heavens. When Hung Jun went back in earnest over the matters of the past, he could only feel that it was mysterious and arcane. But Li Jinglong's words caused him to think of another group of memories. That past that, even today, was blurry and unclear, and even the perpetrator had completely forgotten. As Li Jinglong walked, he kept musing, and when they came to the entrance of the exorcism department, Hung Jun let go of his hand. Li Jinglong opened the door, and Hung Jun hurried to go wash his pants first, walking quickly into the courtyard. "Marquis of Yadan," a man's voice said from within the courtyard. "You are truly too busy." Hung Jun hurriedly came to a stop, only to see that there was someone standing in the courtyard, Yang Qiuzhong. Li Jinglong startled, and he hurriedly said, "Chancellor Yang." Of all the members of the exorcism department, only Chu Yangxi could manage to exchange a few words with an official. Mo Rijin, Lu Su, and Ashinakayang had never mingled in politics, not to mention that this was Chancellor Yang, who answered only to one person and had thousands under his command. Before, the Chancellor had purposefully made things difficult for Li Jinglong, so everyone knew that Yang Qiuzhong did not stand on the same side as them. All of them avoided exchanging any common greetings with him, to prevent him from getting any information from them. Li Jinglong gestured for Hung Jun to go back to his room first, before he gestured please to Yang Qiuzhong. After begging his pardon, he had Yang Qiuzhong wait in the hall for a moment while he himself went to change into another set of robes and entertain his guest. This was the first time that Yang Qiuzhong had received such treatment, of all the officials in the imperial court, down to the county governors, who amongst them wouldn't be tripping over themselves to display their courtesy, groveling at his feet? Only these unruly commoners in the exorcism department, who made light of the laws of the land and of the heavens, actually dared to leave him hanging in the courtyard. Even though Li Jinglong did return, he had actually gone to change without taking his leave. What was even more detestable was that since the exorcism department had been created, it had been under his direct supervision, which meant that Li Jinglong was his own subordinate. This was truly arrogant and imperious. Li Jinglong going to change his clothes was nothing more than to buy himself some time. There were no horses or carriages in the alley outside, nor did Yang Qiuzhong have anyone following him, so no one from the Judiciary Department or the Ministry of Justice had come with him. Yang Qiuzhong had come alone. Why? How long had he been here? Had he come very early in the morning? Was it because of this that A Tai had come to tell him to hurry back? For him to come so early in the morning meant that the matter at hand was of utmost importance. Several questions flashed through Li Jinglong's mind. He washed his face, did a simple wipe down of his body in his room, buttoned up his martial robe, and hurried into the hall. Yang Qiuzhong's expression was unpleasant, but Li Jinglong pretended not to see it. He spread his hands slightly, meaning that if the Chancellor of the Right had something to say, that he should say it. I imagine you have already gone to the Zhao Mausoleum, Yang Qiuzhong said solemnly. I went there. Li Jinglong wasn't surprised at all. The city was filled with Yang Qiuzhong's spies, and his own movements could not be hidden from him. The Yaogui that appeared in the walking pool on Mt. Li, have you gotten to the bottom of that? I have not, Li Jinglong said, shaking his head. A fish and a peng had suddenly flown out of the hot springs near Huaqing Palace. According to what the night guards had said, Li Jinglong deduced that it was more or less the two Yao Kings, the Kun and the Peng. Since it was related to Hung Jun, he hadn't decided to tell him. The matter of the Zhao Mausoleum, does it have anything to do with Yaogui? Yang Qiuzhong asked. Li Jinglong thought deeply for a moment, his brows furrowed as he studied Yang Qiuzhong, before he said, as of yet, it is unclear. Yang Qiuzhong, what appeared in the Zhao Mausoleum? Li Jinglong, we haven't finished investigating that yet. Yang Qiuzhong turned slightly, and he said in a low voice, Marquis of Yadan, the situation has already reached the eunuchs. The imperial consort's birthday is coming, and you probably know what kind of intentions that group in the Sensorate harbor. Li Jinglong immediately understood that Yang Qiuzhong could sit still no longer, and thought, now you're afraid of being impeached? But just as he was about to explain, Yang Qiuzhong said, enunciating every word, do you know how many people died in the Qian Mausoleum last night? Li Jinglong. Yang Qiuzhong, with an unreadable expression, watched Li Jinglong as he continued. I imagine you all have not learned of the situation yet. Ah well. The 25 people that were standing guard outside the Qian Mausoleum were all slaughtered. Their necks were twisted, and none of their corpses were left intact. Li Jinglong thought to himself, damn, he had no choice but to face this matter head-on now. But Yang Qiuzhong continued, isn't it time for you to take a look personally tonight? I'll head over right now. What has His Majesty said about this? Li Jinglong asked as he hurried to get to his feet. The news was stopped at the Judiciary Department, Yang Qiuzhong replied solemnly. I don't care what methods you use, but you must solve this as fast as you can. What Yaogui is this? 17th day of the 3rd month, 13th year of the Tianbao era. Case, ghosts terrorizing the Qian Mausoleum. Difficulty, Earth level. Location, the Qian Mausoleum, on the northern peak of Mt. Liang. Involved persons, unknown. Case details. On the night of the 17th day of the 3rd month, Evil Yao appeared suddenly outside the Qian Mausoleum on the northern peak of Mt. Liang, slaughtering the 25 people standing guard. remuneration. If the Yaoguai is caught, the Yang family will provide rich rewards. Additional remarks. His Majesty must not learn of this, or any other person for that matter, or our lives will be lost. Li Jinglong immediately gathered his subordinates, while Yang Qiuzhong swiftly walked out, saying to him, Official Cheng Xiao of the Judiciary Department is still investigating the case of the Zhao Mausoleum, so you must figure out a way to take care of this case. Chancellor of the Right, Li Jinglong responded earnestly. Human lives are the most important thing, and everything we do will be for the sake of the truth. Yang Qiuzhong sucked in a deep breath, as if he wanted to rage. Origin and the rest came out, sending Yang Qiuzhong's departing silhouette off with only their eyes. Come with me. Li Jinglong brought the group on horses through the small alleys, but they didn't leave the city, instead turning a corner into Atai and Turandik's wine shop. As soon as Atai saw that everyone was geared up, he knew that something had happened. He saddled his horse to go with them, but Li Jinglong told him not to worry, only ordering the rest of them to go inside and sit down. I didn't have the time to call you back, Li Jinglong explained, so let's have our discussion here instead. Turandik wanted to bring them wine, but Atai brought out tea instead, saying, I got Yangxi's letter just now. He's almost back, let's see what he has to say. In the wine shop, the Amber of Lanling, Li Jinglong went into a private room. All of them sat down, before Atai had Turandik watch the outside, making sure that no one approached. Li Jinglong then described to them what Yang Qiuzhong had told him. Origin murmured, another one's here. The Zhao Mausoleum was where Wu Zhao and Li Ji were buried together. Ever since the tomb had been sealed, very few people had gone there. Every year, when Li Longji went to pay respects to his ancestors, the only tomb he avoided was the Qian Mausoleum, only because he still felt hatred towards Wu Zhao in his heart. After Ashinakayang heard that, he began to chuckle, saying, What does that mean? All of the souls of the past emperors have come out to frighten your emperor. Oi, be more careful with your words, Atai said. We borrowed this place from the emperor. Hung Jun said, I am very certain that that guy in the Zhao Mausoleum is Xia Yu. I can also confirm, Lu Su said. N. Li Jinglong nodded, and after a thoughtful silence, continued, I also saw it myself. It was indeed Xia Yu, or it'd be better to say, it's an offshoot of Xia Yu. Atai looked towards Li Jinglong, who seemed to be musing over something that he was hard-pressed to come to a conclusion about. He murmured to himself, now this is getting troublesome. It's actually not him, Origin suggested. We cannot come to conclusions yet, Li Jinglong said. But with this, things have gotten complicated. If it isn't him, then who would it be? What is complicated? Hung Jun's brain wasn't quite enough to use here, and he kept feeling like Origin, Atai and Li Jinglong had all come to have some strange shared understanding, while Lu Su and himself were completely out of the loop. What are you all talking about? Upon seeing how the atmosphere turned silent, Hung Jun felt that he had been shut out. Suddenly, he also felt a bit dejected. Even if he and Li Jinglong's relationship had changed, it was as if they had returned to the time when they were still protecting him and keeping everything from him. When that minute change crossed his face, Li Jinglong immediately sensed it. He hurried to say, Hung Jun, actually. It's okay, Hung Jun said, rising to his feet. I'll go boil some water and make some tea for you all. But Li Jinglong grabbed his arm, not letting him go. He hesitated for a moment, as if he was making up his mind, before saying, the reason I'm not telling you is only because I'm afraid you'll be worried. Origin made a cage gesture. Li Jinglong understood and he nodded. It meant that at least as of now, Hung Jun was not very afraid of Xia Yu anymore, so letting him know would be of no harm. Say it ba, Hung Jun said. In these past few days, we've been constantly trying to infer. Li Jinglong frowned, leaning against a wooden chair positioned behind the table, where exactly Xia Yu's den is. Could it, like the nine-tailed fox, turn into a human and hide in Chang'an city? Lu Su replied earnestly, when I was in Dunhuang, I heard Xiaoyu mention several times that the nine-tailed heavenly fox in the city of Chang'an had already died, so I imagine it is right in the vicinity. Lu Su and I have already compared our information in detail, Mo Rijin added. We only have that information. It was only now that Hung Jun learned that where he hadn't yet understood, they had already taken action and began to investigate in secret. Then what? Hung Jun asked. What conclusions did you come to? Normally, as long as Hung Jun could hear the conclusions, he was okay, but this time, even Li Jinglong was a little at a loss for what to do next. The sound of footsteps came from the outside, and Li Jinglong was immediately on guard. When they heard Tu Reindict confront them, everyone let out a breath. A Tai hurried to pull open the screen, saying, Yangxi's back. Hung Jun began to smile. Chu Yangxi, still covered in the dust of the road, squeezed into the private room, saying, I'm so tired. Sayazai, bring in some tea. Chu Yangxi had been gone for a few days, and Hung Jun had kept feeling like the exorcism department was missing a little something. Now, finally, everyone was here. How is Luo Yang? Li Jinglong asked. Talk about your matters first, Chu Yangxi said, taking the cup of tea and drinking several large gulps. After you all are done, I'll fill in the gaps. There's a big headache in Chang'an, Li Jinglong said. No way ba, Chu Yangxi bemoaned. And here I thought you all were sitting here, drinking wine and investigating a case together. The Carpiao sat on the thigh of Hung Jun, whose legs were crossed as he sat. It said, second eldest, keep talking, where do you think Xiaoyu is? Li Jinglong replied, it is right here in Chang'an, that's the most likely possibility. Perhaps it's in Xingqing Palace, and it's also very likely that it's by His Majesty's side. Ah! Hung Jun exclaimed in shock. Everyone was silent. Lu Su glanced at Li Jinglong, before he looked to Hung Jun. At that, Hung Jun remembered that Lu Su had once talked of a certain innate talent that Li Jinglong possessed. He could always, from scattered pieces of information missing many parts, come up with a guess that seemed completely illogical, like a miracle. Why do you say that? Hung Jun couldn't resist asking. Mo Rijin said, though this is very outrageous, but when Zhenqi brought it up, I felt that it was very possible. Xiaoyu knows the situation in Chang'an like the back of his hand, Li Jinglong said slowly, taking a sip of tea. There are two explanations, 1, his spies report back to him constantly, or 2, he is right in the city of Chang'an. Combine that with the situation after the nine-tailed heavenly fox died and the Yao tribe scattered to the four winds, there was at least a short period of time when there were no more Yao in the city. After losing the nine-tailed fox, Xiaoyu must have placed a new spy in Chang'an, but after the nine-tailed fox died, I took special note of the situation in the city. There was nothing strange. After leaving Chang'an, going to Liangzhou, and coming back, I specially checked the records in the Judiciary Department, and I didn't find anything out of place. Hung Jun, Qing Xiang also told you before that the Yao King is in Chang'an. So based on that, my guess is that Xiaoyu has never left. From the beginning to the end, it has always been here. Hung Jun. Chu Yangxi had also clearly understood what Li Jinglong had begun to guess it, and he interrupted. If I were it, since the nine-tailed heavenly fox already took the lead, it wouldn't be difficult to hide myself by His Majesty's side. Li Jinglong nodded. It's very likely to be one of the major officials of the court. Hung Jun replied, that's impossible. Though Hung Jun didn't understand much of the imperial court of the Great Tang, he had gone with Li Jinglong to see many officials. If the Black Jiao Xiaoyu was indeed hiding amongst the officials, that would be very terrifying. We don't have any absolute clues, Li Jinglong said to Hung Jun. We only have a vague direction. Xiaoyu will be very, very careful. In reality, it would be illogical if it revealed any traces at all. Chu Yangxi nodded. Right. As soon as there are traces visible enough for someone to feel along the vine for the melon, that means a problem has risen. Think about it, A Tai said. Even Lady Qiaoqiao was substituted. What difficulty would this handful of court officials pose for Xiaoyu? When Hung Jun thought about it that way, that seemed to be very likely. Li Jinglong continued, in reality, since the day Lady Qiaoqiao was put to death, I had my vague suspicions. Who could it be? The Carpiao asked. The first one I suspect is Yang Qiaoshong, Li Jinglong said. Hung Jun couldn't resist the chill that swept up his spine, and his voice trembled as he said, impossible. He had seen Yang Qiaoshong many times, and not a single time had he felt as if he had transformed from a Yaoguai. Chu Yangxi, however, said, it's very possible. These kinds of great Yaoguai like Xiaoyu have the ability to transform into whatever shape they want. If common exorcists can see through them, they don't need to try to disguise themselves any longer. But right now, I feel like he doesn't seem very likely, Li Jinglong said, frowning. The second one I suspect is Gao Lishi. Doesn't seem like it, Chu Yangxi said, shaking his head. End chapter. Legend of Exorcism. Chapter 84. The Four Cardinal Vices. Everyone once again sank into silence, before the Carpiao asked, why Yang Qiaoshong then? Because the day the nine-tailed fox died, Li Jinglong answered, Yang Qiaoshong just so happened to not be in Chang'an. He went to Fanyang. If Xiaoyu was within the city of Chang'an, he would not sit by and let us destroy his plan. A more logical guess is, Mo Rijin added, that since we killed the nine-tailed fox's fox sons and fox descendants, the nine-tailed fox had hatred in her heart and could not let this matter go no matter what, but with Xiaoyu there, she didn't dare to act, and Xiaoyu wouldn't let her act. After all, his goal is to revive Mara, so he would not allow any variables in the process. A Tai nodded. That's why as soon as Yang Qiaoshong left, Lady Qiaoqiao attacked us. Originally, she thought that she could successfully get rid of the exorcism department, but she didn't expect to have her own boat overturned instead. Hung Jun was speechless at that. After having experienced so many things, he actually hadn't thought of all the twists and turns in them. But Liu Su brought up another question. What was he going to do in Fanyang? This is no longer within the scope of this discussion, Li Jinglong said. No, Ashinakayang said. This is very important, because if on the off chance Xiaoyu had already laid out his trap in Chang'an, he would not leave for trivial reasons. Li Jinglong thought deeply for a moment, before finally saying, he went to investigate the Fanyang Jidushi in Lushan, to see if he was, and after saying that, he made a you all understand expression, before continuing, forget what you heard just now. Why do you think it's not likely that it's him? The Carpiao asked. Because if Xiaoyu were Yang Qiaoshong, Li Jinglong said, he wouldn't cause himself more trouble by making a fuss in the royal mausoleum, thus giving the imperial officials a chance to impeach his younger sister. Hung Jun recalled the explanation of Huang Yang of the Judiciary Department. It seemed like there were quite a few people in the imperial court who did not get along with the Yang family, and since the case of ghosts wreaking havoc in the royal mausoleum just so happened to fall right before the imperial consort's birthday, someone could use this opportunity to spread the word, and thus admonish Li Longji. The deduction was once again at a stalemate. Hung Jun murmured to himself, I never thought of it. The person that Xiaoyu took the form of must at least have something special about them, Chu Yangxi said. It's something that is set in stone, completely unavoidable. Everyone looked towards Chu Yangxi. Chu Yangxi said, he must have seen Hung Jun before. Exactly, Li Jinglong said. And it was after the nine-tailed heavenly fox died. Hung Jun, do you remember what Wu Qiu said to you? That long-winded fox Yao, Hung Jun said, doing his best to remember. She said so much right before she died, how am I supposed to remember it all? Everyone fell over. Li Jinglong said, on the observation platform, she said, "What I saw, was actually, Yu Hui." Did she? Hung Jun had forgotten it himself. Yes, the Carpiao immediately shouted. I also remember now. She also brought up Hung Jun's parents. Hung Jun was astonished. Zhao Zilong. You've known all along. The Carpiao hurriedly covered its own mouth, it had revealed its cards just then. Li Jinglong, however, said, "Don't blame it, Hung Jun." Hung Jun wasn't angry, but he did shoot the Carpiao a reprimanding glance. Origin continued, "So, on the observation deck, Wu Qiu had just discovered that the devil seed was in Hung Jun's body. Sorry Hung Jun." Hung Jun waved his hand, meaning that it was no problem. After thinking deeply for a moment, he nodded. "Let's assume that your identity was also one that very few people knew at the time," Li Jinglong said. "Before you left to head to Liangzhou, Xiaoyu had already come up with an entire plan, the goal of which was you." With that, he ordered the plague god and Suanu, as well as Lusu. Lusu thought for a bit, before saying, "That's exactly right." That night, Suanu had me come out with the goal of capturing Hung Jun. The result was that you all were unable to do so, so after he came back, Li Jinglong said, he definitely wouldn't be able to resist the urge to see you again. "That's not necessarily true," Ashinakayang said. "What if he managed to resist that urge?" Li Jinglong shrugged and said, "Of course, this is only my guess." After Wu Qiu died, the imperial consort learned of Hung Jun's identity, so Yang Qiuzhong must also have learned of the details of what happened. And since Yang Qiuzhong and Lady Qiuquo are both family to the imperial consort, this becomes very logical. After we came back, who have we seen? Hung Jun began to think back. Yang Qiuzhong, Gao Lishi, Huang Yang, the guard that had been with Huang Yang, the crown prince Li Hung, Li Longji. The royal family is tied to the land and to the luck of the divine land. Yangtze said it before, if the Yao tribes were to touch this, they would suffer heavenly tribulations, so that's the most unlikely, Li Jinglong said. They can be eliminated. Gao Lishi, Yang Qiuzhong, Huang Yang, Origin said. These three are the most likely. Since we've been to the judiciary department several times, I feel like Huang Yang can also be eliminated. He's really not the kind, which leaves Gao Lishi and Yang Qiuzhong. Chu Yangxi added, I feel like one, the Black Jiao wouldn't pretend to be a eunuch. Second, Gao Lishi has been in the palace since he was a youth, and during that time has even helped His Majesty put down the rebellion incited by Princess Taiping. With Xiaoyu's abilities, if he had the heart to, he could have supported a weak, powerless emperor, he wouldn't have gone to seek out His Majesty. Third, I keep feeling like the timelines don't match up. My grandfather came to Chang'an 40 years ago to search for the whereabouts of the Black Jiao, but he didn't find anything. The Carpiao said, but Chongming Daren once fought a great battle with the Black Jiao, and both sides were heavily injured. If that burned away that Black Jiao's then it's possible for it to turn into a eunuch. Everyone. The times don't match up, Li Jinglong said, gritting his teeth. Don't quibble, okay. The most likely one is Yang Qiuzhong, Li Jinglong said. You've left out one person, Ashinakayang pointed out. Li Jinglong thought deeply for a moment, before saying, it wouldn't be her. Who? Hung Jun asked. The imperial consort, Origin replied. Ashinakayang did not know of Yang Yehuan's past with Hung Jun's family, and back in the day, since Kong Xian had personally attended to the imperial consort's illness, she could also be ruled out. The more Hung Jun thought about it, the more goosebumps rose. When Li Jinglong pointed it out, he also began to second-guess everything. He kept feeling that Yang Qiuzhong was very suspicious he could have colluded with Lady Qiuquo to replace the original owner of the body, before then hiding himself by the emperor's side. How many more heart devils has Xiaoyu raised? Li Jinglong suddenly asked Lusu. Lu Su shook his head, but Mo Rijin added, that time in Dunhuang gave us an inkling. He used one of the Hun in his body to absorb devil qi, replacing the devil seed that he couldn't find. He put it in Lu Su's body, but that devil qi that he had painstakingly used nightmares to gather was sucked away by Hung Jun, and that Hun also returned to him at that time. Hung Jun nodded. What we saw last night in the royal mausoleum, Lu Su murmured, should be another one. How many can he create at most? Li Jinglong asked. Mo Rijin raised 3 fingers. Hung Jun said, there are 2 more, but if he were to send all of his 3 Hun and 7 Po out, wouldn't he die? So, he should always have at least 1 Hun in his body, Mo Rijin continued. Perhaps he uses some magic that allows him to appear no different from a normal person, despite his 3 Hun being in different places. The Carpiao said, to cultivate to that level means that the power of his Yao Hun must be very great. It's not the same as Lu Su, who was weakened after he was reincarnated and only had 1 Hun and 7 Po. At most, Xiaoyu will probably only be a little weaker in a fight, and he shouldn't be affected on a daily basis. Li Jinglong said, I've told you now, but you must avoid seeing Yang Qiuzhong again, otherwise if you slip even once, the look in your eyes will, ahem. Li Jinglong didn't know what to do now either, and it was only then that Hung Jun understood. He grew a little dejected, but he understood what Li Jinglong meant they hadn't told him, exactly because they were afraid of him revealing the truth in front of Yang Qiuzhong, and perhaps that would make their plan fail. Let's investigate the case Ba, Mo Rijin said. The results should slowly start to reveal themselves. This seems like a trap, Li Jinglong murmured. It's too extraordinary. Very logical. A Tai thought deeply, before saying, first, he took the opportunity while we weren't in the city to trick Hung Jun and Lu Su into going there. But Hung Jun said, but Chancellor Yang hadn't suggested that to Huang Daren. Plus, how could it be so coincidental that only us 2 were at home? That's right, Li Jinglong said, raising his eyebrows. Logically speaking, yesterday you 2 had merely accidentally stumbled into Xiaoyu in the Zhao Mausoleum. It's very logical, right? When we came back, Xiaoyu then created another incident, luring everyone over there in order to. I don't know what he was trying to do in the meantime, but acting against you is my guess. A Tai seemed to have a headache, and he said, this is the most logical explanation. It's precisely because it's too logical, Mo Rijin said. A Yao King that has hidden itself for so long, could it use such a stupid method? Ashinakayang said to Li Jinglong, right now, he dreads you the most. If it were me, I would first get rid of you, before slowly taking care of the other matters. Li Jinglong nodded but didn't reply to that. Instead, he murmured, so I thought that as soon as we got back, the person Xiaoyu would immediately move against would be me. Want to listen to my discovery? Chu Yangxi said. This trip to Luoyang uncovered a little something. Everyone perked their ears up to listen. Chu Yangxi had basically rushed there, day and night, his horse's hooves never stopping, to reach Luoyang, in order to investigate that recent brain-eating case. However, he found that it was a Nao that had cultivated into a Yao. Of course, with Chu Yangxi's profession, defeating a Nao Yao was nothing to him. What was lucky was that Nao Yao wasn't very fierce, so Chu Yangxi managed to shakily seal it first, before then unleashing a rain of heavy blows on it. This was precisely Li Jinglong's intention. He had to make Chu Yangxi defeat Yaoguai on his own. Originally, Chu Yangxi wanted for its soul to perish, since it had committed such a heinous crime, it shouldn't even be given a chance at reincarnating. But the Nao Yao had begged and pleaded, before finally betraying the Yao King Xiaoyu's tracks. It was, as expected, in Chang'an. Do you remember that sand snake that we caught in Dunhuang? Chu Yangxi asked. With that reminder, everyone remembered. Li Jinglong, however, added, I sent the sand snake out to do something. To do what? Even Mo Rijin and them didn't know, but Li Jinglong merely sipped his tea casually, saying, to deliver a breakthrough into Xiayu's hands, so that he drops his guard and reveals himself ahead of time, and acts to defeat me. It's no issue, keep talking. This bastard and the sand snake, neither were Yaoguai of the Central Plains before, Chu Yangxi said. In order to revive Mara, Xiaoyu gathered up a bunch of Yao in the Central Plains that originally resided in Ziliang and Nanzhao. I don't understand, Heng Jun said, a little unsettled. Is Xiaoyu's goal to revive Mara or to become Mara? That was the crux of what I discovered, Chu Yangxi said. If Xiaoyu was unable to find the devil seed after many years of searching, and thus used his own 3 hun as materials for replacements for the original seeds of Mara, then there are 3 heart devils. If one of the 3 could do it, then it would gather up all 3 of the hun, so it would end up with the strongest power in the human realm anyways. A single Now Yao can eavesdrop on such important information. Li Jinglong asked, his brows furrowing. It isn't a trap again, is it? Ashinakayang said, why is it that when we follow Zhenji, I always end up feeling like everything's suspicious? You Han people have a lot of evil hidden in you. You have to call me Marquis, Li Jinglong said. The Han people are giving you your salary and helping you revive your country, do you not want your salary anymore? Right now, you're still a temporary worker. Ashinakayang hurried to beg pardon for his crimes. Chu Yangxi said, just like how the Snow Woman and the Plague God were guarding Lu Su, the other devil has 4 Yaoguai watching over it. As for this, now, it once had the duty of helping one of those 4 gather fresh, well, it helped in doing stuff for it. And saying this, he glanced at Heng Jun and Lu Su. Lu Su said, was it catching humans, to eat? When Heng Jun heard those words, he felt very uncomfortable. After all, his blood was 1/2 Yao, and yet Yaoguai were so cruel. He said, if, someday, Chongming becomes the Yao King, the first thing he'll do is make them no longer eat or kill humans. But the Carp Yao protested, humans often eat crab roe, suckling pigs, young chickens, and whatnot. This is unavoidable, it's not like everyone can go vegetarian, right? Everyone. Chu Yangxi said, someday, when our family's Heng Jun becomes the Yao King, it'll be all up to you then. Heng Jun was torn between laughing and crying, but Li Jinglong said, we are born as humans, yet my kind often do evil things. Heng Jun, do you hate me? Of course not, Heng Jun said. So, we also don't hate you, A Tai smiled. Look at Zhenji, no, the Marquis, he loves you to death. Li Jinglong coughed, and Heng Jun immediately grew awkward. Chu Yangxi seemed to sense something, and he shot a strange glance at the 2 of them, before then looking towards A Tai, a question in his eyes. They're together now? All right, Li Jinglong interrupted. Continue speaking. 4 subordinates, and then. They were gathering up all of the Yaoguai, Chu Yangxi said, to circle around Chang'an and gather in the north. The north. Li Jinglong seemed to sense something, and he asked, how far north? Chu Yangxi shook his head slightly, saying, inside the Great Wall. The Yao King will be there in person to defend, along with these 4 great Yaoguai. Several months ago, they were on the road to Chang'an, and I imagine that they're already here now. Heng Jun jolted, and A Tai said, 4 of them came at once? We didn't notice them. How are they, compared to the Snow Woman and the Plague God? Li Jinglong asked. Unclear, Chu Yangxi murmured. How the Yao tribes arrange themselves according to rank, I really don't know. Heng Jun was even more not in the know, and he looked towards the Carp Yao. The Carp Yao said, it's too troublesome to explain it in words, I'll draw out a chart for you all later ba. Li Jinglong asked, what kind of Yao are these 4? Chu Yangxi replied, their original forms aren't clear, but their names are respectively, wine, lust, greed, and pride. That was the last of the contents, there's no more. Prepare to set out, Li Jinglong ordered. Everyone split up and go, I have a general sense of things now. End chapter.